AITA for refusing to discuss my daughter's name with my family because they want me to change it. I recently gave birth to my daughter Sloane, and my husband and I didn't announce her name until after she was born because I knew my family disliked the name. Growing up, they were always negative about it, calling it ugly and not a real name. Even after her birth, my family wanted to discuss the name, saying they never thought I would actually use it. I've refused to engage, telling them the name decision was between my husband and me. Now they accuse me of being childish for avoiding a discussion. I, F29, gave birth to my daughter Sloane 14 weeks ago. My husband, M30, and I didn't announce her name until she was born. The reason for this is because I knew my family didn't like the name Sloane and would spend their time trying to talk us out of the name. I know this because I started loving the name Sloane when I was a kid. There was a girl in my class from 1st to 3rd grade, and I told my family at the time I thought her name was really cool, and they told me it wasn't, and my parents said it wasn't even a real name. I brought it up a few times, but I remember the negativity. I even remember my mom pitying her because of it. When I was 14, she even brought her up and told me she bet Sloane was going by her middle name or a nickname by then. She moved schools after 3rd grade, so I didn't see her. When I was 16, one of my friends transferred schools after a move and mentioned Sloane was in her class and still used Sloane. I rubbed it into my mom's face so hard, but she told me it was still an ugly name, and she felt bad for the girl who had to have it as her name. My parents prefer names like Anna, James, Elizabeth, William, and Hannah, which are my siblings and my names. They think those are sophisticated and classic and easy to use through life. They don't think Sloane's a kid's name, just not a real name and so ugly. I was lucky that my husband loved the name, and when we talked baby names, he said we could name a daughter Sloane. He also knew how my family felt, so he was on board with keeping the name to us until our daughter was here. You might think that the name being official and on the birth certificate would deter any negativity on the name, but since my daughter's name was announced, my family have wanted to sit and discuss the name. They said they never believed I would seriously carry on and name my daughter Sloane. I shut them down and told them I did, and that was that. I have refused to discuss it more. I ignore them via text if I have to or end calls. I left my sister's house just a week ago because they tried to bring it up. They told me it's childish to run away from a serious discussion. I said we have nothing to discuss, that my husband and I had our discussion on the name, and that was the only one that needed to happen. They told me a part of being a family is hearing each other out, and I'm being childish by refusing their requests. AITA, relevant comments. Commenter, NTA. They told me a part of being a family is hearing each other out. They sound utterly insufferable. Start nicknaming each one of them words that rhyme with Sloane to their faces because you can, and there isn't a thing they can do to stop you. OP. They can be kinda insufferable at times, but this is them at their worst. Commenter. Tell them to suck it up, Buttercup, cause her name is Sloane. And none of them actually get a say naming a baby is the parent's choice only. Granny, grandpa, uncles, and aunts don't have to like it. And tell them if they say anything negative to her as she's growing up about her name, they lose the chance to get to know her. Cause if they're this insufferable now, I have a feeling it will continue as Sloane grows. Those same comments made to you about your friend Sloane's name will now be directed to your daughter. Story 2. My fiancé assaulted his BFF on his bachelor party. I don't know what to do. My F28 fiancé, M28. Alex has a BFF, Danny 28, since they were 4. She's not like the usual Reddit BFF. She's a lovely, sweet person who has never crossed boundaries with Alex or their 2 other friends, Marcus and Daniel. The 4 are very close. Danny is gay and always was. She is very much a woman, but likes to dress in jeans and t-shirts and not in any feminine clothing. She is lean, tall, has short hair, and is just one of the boys in a lot of ways. This weekend was Alex's bachelor party. All 4 plus 2 other of Alex's friends went along. It was to a coastal town that's well known for hosting bachelor and bachelorette parties, but there's no strip club or anything. They stayed in a B&B and have scuba diving and kayaking planned. First night went okay, dinner restaurant and nightclub and home. Last night was the issue. They did the nightclub and headed back to the house. Marcus and Daniel, who are both single, brought back 2 girls from the nightclub and got busy in their bedrooms. The rest were drinking in the living room, but things got a bit loud, and the 2 friends started complaining that they didn't get to go to a strip club and never got to see TTs and ass. They were blaming their wives and calling them names. Danny told them to shush, as it was ruining the mood, and they both thought it would be funny if they saw Danny's body naked to make up for it. The thing is, Alex joined in, and they stripped her. She was screaming loudly, and Marcus and Daniel came running and rescued Danny and put her in a bedroom with the girls and had a fight with the 3 men. Daniel doesn't drink due to a chronic medical condition and the medication he is on, so they packed up and took Danny and the 2 girls and left the other 3. Danny was hysterical, and Marcus wanted her to go to the police, but she wouldn't. She was afraid to go home, so they ended up dropping the girls off and taking Danny to her parents, which was an hour away. Marcus was at my door at 7 a.m. this morning, and he told me what happened if he ever sees Alex again. He's afraid of how things could go. He told told me that if he can convince Danny to press charges, he will. Then he left. Alex returned about 3 this afternoon. He was acting normally until I told him Marcus had visited. He was very nervous and tried to play down what happened as a joke that got out of hand. I'm devastated. I heard him out, but he knew I wasn't accepting what he was saying. I told him Danny may be going to the police, and he got very panicked and pale. He said she had him blocked and he wanted to go talk to her. I told him she wasn't at her place as she was too afraid he or his buddies would turn up there. I asked him to leave and he didn't want to go, but I insisted. He was crying, saying it was a prank that got out of hand. I heard him out only as a courtesy to our 2-year relationship, but I'm done. I don't know this man. I don't know if I should reach out to Danny or just do nothing. Marcus and I have been in constant contact, and he agrees that I have no option but to end things. I don't know where to start with canceling everything as the wedding was in 5 weeks, but it seems trivial compared to what Danny is going through right now. Marcus is convinced that Danny is going to the police after talking to her parents, so I think Alex is in trouble. I can't support him on this. Maybe I'm wrong, as he was drunk and probably had taken other things, but this was his friend from age 4, and he did this to her. I've not blocked Alex, but I've not replied or picked up any of his calls. Update 1. Sorry, I don't know how to do updates, so posting this separately. It's been a terrible day. I can't reach out to my friends yet as I'm ashamed. I did tell my parents and my brother, and they have been wonderful. My brother brought his friend with him when he came to stay, and today both of them packed up every bit of my ex's stuff and took it to his parents' house. X was there and just asked if that meant I was finished with him, and my brother said yes. And did he really expect any other reaction? His father intervened and told X not to say anything more. He told my brother to tell me to contact him about canceling the wedding. I'm not contacting his father ever. My parents are handling canceling the wedding, and my father got into my cousin who is a lawyer, and he is going to help and advise me as needed. I've had to disentangle myself from X on Lisa's bank account savings and such, although my brother made me transfer all of my money from joint account savings and daily accounts to my own account. It's a mess. I tried to ring Danny, but she isn't up for speaking to anyone, so I just texted her that I was there for her and that I had broken up with Alex. She hasn't replied, and I don't expect she will. She's in a bad way, apparently. Daniel spent 3 hours with me today. There's a lot going on, but I'm afraid to say too much for fear of damaging any court case. Just to say there are 2 videos of the incident. One by Jeb, one of the 2 friends. A lot of it is chaotic, but the last part is clear and telling apparently. The owners of the rental house apparently have gotten involved and have footage, but I can't say more. When Marcus left me, he went to both those guys' wives and told them what happened. Jeb's wife has been very helpful apparently, and she has split from him. The other guy's wife too has left him. Things are going how most of you want them to go, that's all I will say. Well, I will add it was worse than what Marcus shared. Daniel told me that before Danny found her style, she had long hair and dressed feminine and was stunningly beautiful, and all 3 of them were in love with her as teens. Alex took her rejection very personally apparently, and Daniel says he was angry and bitter for a couple of years, but hid it from her. The thought he had gotten over it, but Daniel feels this smacks of revenge against her. Scary if this is true. I have and continue to receive hundreds of texts from Alex. He told me his father told him to stop texting me, but he can't. I haven't replied or blocked based on advice. This is very hard, and I don't know what way all this is going to end up. Sorry about any mistakes and typos. I'm not doing well. If there's more, I will post again if I'm able. Update 2. Update 2. My fiancé assaulted his BFF on his bachelor party. Hi, all my last update my removed, but if anyone is interested, I thought I'd post the latest and get some advice. I got a call from Danny. Daniel has been ever present, and I'm guessing it was because he knew she was going to call. There's a lot more to the story. The first night was normal, as I said, but in the Saturday, Alex, Jeb, and their friend decided not to go scuba diving with Danny, Daniel, and Marcus. Danny was feeling very hungover and gave up after an hour and went back to the Airbnb. She walked into the living room to find all 3 guys engaging in sexual acts with 2 women. Jeb shouted at her to get out as this was costing them a fortune. The women were escorts. She left and went back to the boat and only told Marcus what she saw. When they all went back later, Alex told her to not tell me, as it was just his last bit of freedom. She told him she was disgusted with him and that he wasn't free. She told him she would have to think about what to do. Marcus convinced her to stay another night as he and Daniel had met the 2 girls the night before and were seeing them again that night. And if Danny wanted to leave, then Daniel would have to take her as he was her ride and there wasn't public transport in the tiny town. So Alex cheated, as did the other 2. Marcus told their wives that morning, but not me. He was going to do it in stages as he knew I was in shock. The actual assault went further than Marcus told me also. And while Alex hadn't actually done anything beyond pulling off her clothes, unlike the other 2, he stood by and watched and did nothing to help her. She said she thought he had taken shrooms earlier, but couldn't be sure. Marcus and Daniel did rescue her, but things had already escalated. She went to the police immediately she got to her parents. The Airbnb owners had also gone independently when they saw the footage. All 3 men are facing the consequences of their actions. Danny told me she was sorry she didn't leave, tell me immediately like she wanted to do. She is very distraught still. I didn't want to make things worse for her. I don't think I am needed for any legal proceedings, so I finally blocked Alex and his parents. The wedding is canceled, and I'm just starting to disentangle myself from Alex on bank accounts and such. Here's my issue. I'm feeling very angry towards Marcus. It feels like he didn't really care about me. He stopped Danny from telling me so he could continue to shack up with the girl he met. He apparently feels guilty because if they had left, Danny would not have been attacked. He didn't do me the courtesy of telling me that Alex cheated that morning like he did with the other two wives. It's not like he was sparing my feelings because my ex assaulting another woman was a pretty damn bad thing to hear. He didn't tell me the full extent of the attack. Danny is still unsure if Alex wasn't just waiting his turn or all he was going to do was watch. I should have been told that as soon as possible, and not from Danny because the conversation was incredibly difficult for her. Daniel didn't know about the escorts at all and didn't know Marcus hasn't shared the full story of what they saw when they burst in. Daniel has been my rock. I need some perspective here. Is it okay to be angry at Marcus? Is it misplaced anger? I'm pretty angry at Alex though, and that's all I feel towards him. Can anyone give me a different perspective I'm missing? Marcus and I had been in constant contact. He's already back at work, so it was messages, texts, and occasional calls. He actually visited last night, but I didn't open the door to him. Daniel is saying whatever I feel right now is okay, but I think he's just placating me. I don't know who to trust anymore. I don't have to have any more contact with Alex and think the case will move along without me. I'm thinking of telling Daniel that I need a break from him and Marcus and that group of friends. Danny and I have said we will stay in touch, but I can't see us being very close. My best friend, who I finally confided in, thinks I should just step away from them all now for good and try to move forward. My parents agree and think it's necessary for healing. My brother thinks Daniel has been nothing but great and I shouldn't cut him off, but they all seem to be a package deal, but without Alex now, obviously. So I think it's probably all or nothing. What should I do? I don't want to be ungrateful, but a clean break feels right. Story 3. AITA for getting a babysitter because my mom was keeping her home. I'm a single mom with a 4-year-old daughter, Anna. Anna and I live with my mom. We both work, and Anna goes to daycare full-time. Daycare would be about half my income, so I get a subsidy that covers $1,400 out of her $2,000 tuition. The only condition of the subsidy is that she actually has to show up. If she misses too many days, I lose the subsidy. I go to work at 7:30, and daycare opens at 8, so my mom would be the one to take Anna to daycare. Anna's main teacher is a 21-year-old girl. When I've talked to her, she's always been very animated and energetic. She's great with the kids. Anna always comes home saying this teacher brought stickers, she brought juice, she brought bubbles, she did face painting, etc., and always has fun crafts that she did with her teacher. This teacher is her favorite person in the world right now, and Anna often runs away from my mom to jump on this teacher in the mornings, and hides when my mom picks her up because she doesn't want to leave this teacher. My mom started to get jealous that Anna likes the teacher better than her, so she started keeping her home from daycare on her days off when she only has 1 to 2 easy clients. She cleans houses. I found out Anna missed 5 days over the past 3 weeks. I asked my mom about it, and she told me she wanted Anna to spend more time with family instead of with teachers. I told my mom Anna needs to be in daycare unless she's sick or I would lose the subsidy. She was arguing that if Anna needs to be in daycare, she should be in one with more family values and not some rich white girl trying to save the poor kids. The teacher is a girl from a well-off family marrying into a well-off family, and the daycare isn't in the most well-off neighborhood. She has bins full of clothes for the kids, gave everyone a water bottle with their name on it, has a much nicer classroom than the other teachers, and drives a car worth more than my mom and I combined could make in a year. She's setting up a field trip to the local airport so her fiancé can talk to the kids about flying planes and so they can look at his jet. I told her I wouldn't. This is the best daycare that takes this subsidy, and I won't be moving her just because she's jealous. She was still insisting on Anna either being with family or being in a more family-based daycare, so I got her a babysitter. I drop her off to my neighbor at 7:30 when I leave for work, and she drops Anna off at 8:15 on her way to take her kids to school. She only charges me $10 a day. I don't love the breakfast that she gives Anna, but I know she's going to daycare and I won't lose the subsidy. Now my mom is pissed that I'm keeping Anna away from her. AITA for sending Anna to a babysitter in the mornings because my mom wasn't taking Anna to daycare. Comments. Commenter, you are NTA. Your mother is overstepping. But the correct solution, regardless of how challenging it will be, is for you to move out and handle all of this on your own. OP. That would be a stretch for me and Anna, but maybe possible if we move from our 3-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom apartment. My mom couldn't afford to live on her own. Commenter, sounds like your mom's problem to figure out since she can't keep her nose out of your business. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you enjoyed our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with our latest one. Have a great day.